everybody. Sorry I'm fighting allergies. Okay. Hey Nancy. How are things going? Oh, so you know, Nancy, real quick. On my store, Shopify has done some changes and they, uh, streamlined everything. Um, so I went in there and they said, as far as sales on emails. I hope you don't mind. I think I got your email. Yeah, I got your email. So I hope you don't mind if you get emails from me regarding sales that's going on in my store. Because I know you bought 2 items from me in the last year or so. I'm trying to get my sales up, and so I'm working on that. So I decided to keep my store and keep it going and everything. Because it's basically self-running anyway. So, um, share word by mouth, that type of thing, and we'll see where this is going. Okay, good. I glad I got your permission. Great. I'll have you on there. And so anyway, if you need anything out of my store, yell. Okay, like kitchen, that type of thing. Um, Also, they did some checking, categorized checking, like on the tax issue and everything else. They got that fixed. Paying taxes and shipping, but basically the tax part. That's why it was so confusing in the last sale I had with you. Uh, they straightened that out. So it's all categorized, and there's some items that don't need to be taxed, and there's some items that do. It depends on what the item is. So, okay, good. Now we got that out of the way. Uh, anyway, spring is pretty much here. It's 49 degrees and it's sunny. I don't know how high it's going to get today. Let me see. Let me check my weather. Okay, expect rain on Friday. We got rain coming in Friday. Um, anyway, uh, you know who old he shall not be named, aka Trump. He's still trying to be relevant, okay? Still wants to be the front runner of the presidential elections. Well, that season hasn't kicked off yet. I don't know why he's doing it in March. But I noticed his rallies are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and depends on where he goes. And whether those people are true followers or just doing it to be paid actors, okay? Um, you don't really know. But I listened to portions, sorry, I listened to portions of his speech through Midas Touch, and Ben Masalas was pointing out several things that Trump said, and Trump has been gaslighting, and he says it's not true. Um, and all he did was rant at the Manhattan DA and everything else, and he said he still won the 2020 election. Guy's delusional. And I wish the Federal Elections Commission would just throw his application out and go, nope, you're not running again. You're being indicted. You've been found guilty of fraud and tax evasion in New York, and you're not allowed to do business in there again. And your record's not exactly clean. So the Federal Elections Commission needs to put their foot down. They need to have more teeth. Let's put it this way: when people want to enter for a federal public office, okay. I don't know where they go to do that, to file for everything, you know. But when you run for, when you want to do public service, you got to start at the bottom. Start at your local town council and just work your way up. You know, from town council to state senate or house member, all the way up to federal, house, state, and house federal member. Uh, you're involved in a lot of civic projects, that type of thing, that shows public service right there. And Trump never did any of that. He just jumped right into being president of the United States, and he did not belong there. He had no inkling how anything works. And when people try to tell him how this works, he wouldn't listen. Hi, Dorothy! Good seeing you! So, he was not really, oh yeah, yeah, and there was some talk or somebody said that they think he has the beginnings of dementia. Uh, so it's hard to say what's really happening, okay? You can only observe from the outside what's happening. And his niece Mary Trump, who is a psychologist, said he's gotten worse. She hasn't talked to him in the last 5-6 years. And he belittles some family members. He picks on them and he belittles them, mocks them. And she doesn't want anything to do with her uncle. And I don't blame her, okay? I had an uncle that I did not like either. And I told my mom that, and she goes, yeah, I know what you mean, you know. So, he who shall not be named, mental illness and his problems, he needs to be put in a padded cell. And I have a very strong faith in the U.S. justice system. They will put him in jail. They will. They have so mounds of evidence against him, it's not even funny. Even his current lawyer, who is similar to Trump, but he's a lot smarter, somewhat smarter, he even threw Trump under the bus. Well, this guy is now forced to testify in the Georgia subpoena. There was another lawyer that also is forced to testify. So they gotta follow the law too, okay? It's sort of funny. Any lawyer that attaches themselves to Trump, they get are forced to do things that when they're not supposed to do, normally do, and they break the law or lie or whatever, then they lose their law license. Some are, unaware that Trump is making them do it, or they intentionally do it, and they should know the consequences. When Michael Cohen was his lawyer, he says he was there for only a very short time. He wasn't really long term. He said it got to the point where Trump was getting worse and worse and worse. He did not listen to you. He did not listen to your advice, and that's why Michael was trying to get out of it, get out from under Trump, and goes, nope, don't want anything to do with this guy. And basically, I think Trump ruined it on purpose because he got back at Michael for telling the truth. And I think they need to review Michael's thing. And they said, well, he lied to the FBI and everything else. Yes, but he was forced to lie. He was forced to lie by Trump. So Uh, Michael Cohen's a lot smarter than he who shall not be named. Because I didn't really view, when I first heard of Michael Cohen and heard him and talk and everything else, he sounded like he wasn't really sure of anything that's going on with Trump. And finally it dawned on him that Trump is doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing. And there's a whole bunch of other factors in there too. But I hope they review Mr. Cohen's case and maybe do some changing. But go to MindisTouch.com and listen. They have Legal AF and they have the Beatdown, which gives a very analytic view of what Trump is doing and what's happening in the justice system. And listen to Michael Cohen, even though he's been convicted doing this and this and this and disbarred. Listen to him, okay? You might be surprised, okay? Anyway, I'm sure Trump will be put in jail. I'm sure the judge, with all the stuff that Trump has been doing and saying and trying to incite riots and everything else, they should throw the guy in jail. Because I noticed his supporters are very, very pathetic. There was outside of Waco, there were more people against Trump than there were for him. Those who were outside the rally and everything else, they would sign up and say, Trump is not above the law. So, people are sick and tired of him, and we need to do better. Okay. I've just learned this morning, there was a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. It was inside a private elementary school called Covenant Elementary, and it's attached to the Covenant Presbyterian Church. I'm a Presbyterian, okay? And this kind of breaks my heart. There were 3 kids and 3 adults that were shot and killed. The shooter was, get this, was a woman, 28 years old, and they're right now checking on her background and everything else. Apparently she done herself in. Or, no, they said the police have, they tried to take her into custody, but they were forced to shoot her. I think they were trying to wing her or something, and it didn't work, and anyway, she died. But they're doing some really stiff checking. They think there's a possibility that may have been either a former employee there or a former student years ago. Okay, that school there is kindergarten through 6th grade, kindergarten through 8th grade. But it sat on the 3 kids and it sat on the 3 adults. They're not going to be able to come home. But we need to do something about the gun laws here, and we need to enforce it. We need to slap the GOP back to the Stone Age on this. And the NRA needs to be slapped too. And federal law always trumps state law. Okay, it always does. May not sound fair, but when you look at state laws versus federal laws, pretty much they mirror each other. The states follow the federal part, so it mirrors, and everything is basically, what's the word? Standardized, if you will. So they need, there's some changes that really need to be made. And when people say it's not going to happen and everything else, and I go, then when you say it's not going to happen, that means you're condoning it. you're just closing your eyes and just ignoring it. Well, it's going to keep on happening if you don't put your foot down, so to speak, and say, this has got to stop. It's about my safety. It's about everybody else's safety all around the country. Okay? Here in my apartment complex, I'm pretty safe. Much safer than I was when I was over at Springbrook. Okay? Springbrook, you could hear shootings going on, and you're going, am I going to be next? That's why last year I really pushed in moving out, because I said I want to go someplace that's safer, cleaner, much better managed. I'm really happy how this is managed here. I really am. But safety is an important thing in anything. Anybody could pick up a weapon. Or make a weapon, okay? You look around you, there's weapons there. Nothing necessarily a gun, but there are weapons there. As in, how do you take care of the gun law, Dorothy? Sometimes I don't think DeSantis is very smart. And I notice he's not supporting Trump at all. I know there's a Florida state law that governors cannot run for president until after they finish their term as governor. Then they could run. It's not like during it. Which that makes sense. So, but we need to put a stop to the gun violence that's happening. And not necessarily, well, you have school shootings too, but you also have drive-by shootings. We had a number up here, drive-by shootings. Yeah, it is terrible. And we need to really push back on that issue. I mean, push back hard. And say, well, if you really look at the Second Amendment, it's made up to say well-regulated militia, okay? Well, back in the 1700s, pre-Civil War, or pre-Revolutionary War, and during the Revolutionary War and afterwards, it says well-regulated militia. They were referring to they're referring to the National Guard. It's a forerunner of the National Guard. And prior to the United States being officially the United States, there were towns and hamlets that were made up of people that did have guns and did have musket shooters and everything else. But when the British came in and invaded, they took the guns away from the townspeople, from the farmers and everything else, took the guns away from them. Well, that's where that Second Amendment came in. But it's a little bit confusing. I think now the Second Amendment needs to be amended. It needs to be updated, badly updated, and say, they should say Part B or number 2 or whatever, and say, and it's also a requirement to have 10-day background checks, training, with gun safety courses and training, have to have insurance, and have to have a permit to carry a gun with them. Not, permitless or anything else. No. You have to have a permit with it. Okay? Like when you drive, you have to have a driver's license with you all the time, right? So, it should not be any different with guns. Now, the big main point is the semi-automatic guns, like AR-15s, okay? You don't hear too many on handguns that much, because they can only carry so much in their cartridge, but you have the AR-15s and everything else. Those don't belong on the street. Ever. Okay? You have lawful hunters that use regular guns just for hunting, okay? Like the 30-aught sticks they use for hunting and everything else. They don't use semi-automatic. No. So I think now there needs to be a ban on semi-automatic. And only exception is the police department, because sometimes they have to fight cartels, fight street gangs and everything else, because street gangs get it in the black market. People say, well, you watch too many crime shows and everything else. Well, you really think about it, yeah, maybe so, but you really think about that. That's where you think they get their weapons from. Now, this 28-year-old, where did she get hers from? Did she steal it, or did she buy it from the black market? Now, here in Washington State, there is a requirement for a 3-day background check on private gun sales and gun shows. This is a law here in Washington State. I don't know about the other states, whether they have that, whether they regulate the gun shows and private sales on that. And why she did. But we probably may not never know, but she might, when they go in and investigate the information and everything, it'd probably come out. Usually people like that leave a manifest or a diary of why they're doing this. And it could be that she's also, I'm kind of suspecting or assuming that she could be a Trump supporter too. I don't know. It's hard to say what goes on in people's mind when they do stupid, dangerous things like this. It really is. So, school shootings gotta stop. Okay. That's my only thing. That's my thing. And this has been going on since, well, ever since the Columbia school shooting in Colorado. Okay. 1999. That was the first basically somewhat mass shooting that happened. Because when I grew up, you never heard anything about this. Okay? You never seen or heard stuff like this. Our school, my school, where I went to the school, was pretty safe. Okay? People didn't think about things like that. And I lived mostly out in the country and farming community, and all we did was we worried about our livestock, we worked on our projects and everything else, but there was never you don't see or hear drive-by shootings. Oh, once in a while you have a bad apple in the neighborhood, but generally they're taken care of pretty quickly. Okay. So, other than that, I'm going to be signing off here soon. Now, on Wednesday, I have a doctor's appointment, which is early in the morning, 8:20 in the morning. So I'm going to decide whether I'm going to be doing my old habits die hard, chat show then. I might go ahead and do it, but I'll keep you guys posted on that and see how long this goes. You know how doctors' offices are. You go in there, it's more like hurry up and wait. And you're on time, but they're running late. It's always never in sync. Okay. Um, so, and I'm also pushing on my YouTube channel and everything else, and just word of mouth, and trying to do that. And also, please push on my store, gingerstormore.com, too. Uh, do by word of mouth, everybody, including on your Facebook friends and everything else, but also on YouTube. And encourage people to go over to my YouTube channel. Oh, one quick thing before I sign off. One that really, how should I say it, my pet peeve, is what Meta is doing to push to get TikTok banned. There are more TikTok users over there, and then you hear all these myths and everything about TikTok. Oh, they'll steal your information and everything else, and they're not safe. I'm sitting there laughing because TikTok is the co-founder of TikTok works out of Taiwan, nation island of Taiwan, not out of China. And I don't know what Zuckerberg is afraid of. He needs to stop trying to be king of the mountain, okay? I think Meta needs to be broken up. Instagram going back to its original owners, okay? And he needs to stop bullying and make something difficult for other platform users. And he needs to learn to get along. Also, the stuff of putting people in Facebook jail just because they want to tell the truth. And they go, well, it goes against our community standards. Okay, post your community standards. Post it on the Facebook feeds. Post the community standards. You know why I went in there and checked the community standards? They don't really have any. They don't even follow it themselves. So I think Facebook needs to be slapped back hard. I really do. That's why I don't advertise my store on there anymore. Because of their reluctance to stop trolls and bots, and they keep relying on algorithms too much. That's my pet peeve. Anyway, okay, well, I will tentatively see you on Wednesday. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll probably still do my rant at 1 o'clock that day, but we'll see how this goes, okay? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, don't worry about Carol. You can catch it on my, when the video is posted. Well, you chew, Nancy. Like I said, if you want anything from my store, let me know, okay? And I will talk to you guys later. I will post this on my YouTube channel as well, okay? And I love you all, and take care. Stay out of trouble. And when you push back, persist, and insist. That's what we need to do. It's worked, and it's worked well. Okay? You too, Dorothy. Love you guys. See you later. Okay, bye-bye.